The car market is about to crash, and experts are all saying the same thing: the downfall is here. This has never been seen before. It's so bad that stocks are on a slippery slope downhill, while car prices are unpredictable, and dealerships are left confused. But can they do anything about it? What is their plan? You see, the ball is already rolling, and depending on who you are, this is either a disaster or a huge opportunity for you. But one thing is for sure: if you don't have the right understanding and information, you'll be getting the bitter end regardless. So let me break it all down for you. What is exactly happening? Let's cut to the chase and break down the numbers. As of August 2024, the average price for a used car is now hovering around $25,571. Can you believe that? Just 2 short years ago, we were looking at the dizzying heights of over 30 grand. This isn't just a tiny hiccup in the market. We're experiencing an astonishing 23 consecutive weeks of price drops that like free falling through the sky. So what's igniting this whirlwind of chaos? Well, a lot of things. The first one is those pesky interest rates. We're staring down a staggering average of 14% APR on used car loans. That's a serious squeeze on your wallet, let me tell you. And while the used car market is in such turmoil, new cars are strutting their stuff with a whole different vibe. Thanks to enticing zero-interest financing offers from numerous automakers, it's almost a no-brainer for buyers to leap from pre-owned cars to shiny new rides. It's like comparing apples to oranges. Who wouldn't want to snag a brand new vehicle without spending a single penny on interest? So what do all these shifts mean for the used car market? Well, with potential buyers feeling hesitant about tackling those steep interest rates, sales are starting to crawl at a snail's pace. Dealerships are now facing mountains of issues. Let's talk about that in detail because it matters the most. Distribution problems. Right now, the automotive market is experiencing its own version of this product explosion, and it's shaking up the world of used car prices in a big way. Remember those days when waiting lists for new cars seemed to stretch on forever? Yeah, those days are rapidly becoming a thing of the past. After a relentless battle with supply chain disruptions and pesky chip shortages, car manufacturers are now full throttle, cranking out vehicles like there's no tomorrow. That means a surge in new cars hitting the streets, giving you an unprecedented array of options the next time you're in the market. It's basically like walking into a car buffet where you can take your pick. And remember all those folks who held onto their trusty old rides during the shortage? Well, guess what? Many are now ready to trade them in, and that's causing used car lots to overflow with options. If you're on the prowl for a pre-owned vehicle, you're in for a treat. There are lots of choices just waiting for you. And the good thing is that with so many cars piling up at dealerships, competition is heating up. Dealers are pulling out all the stops, employing savvy pricing strategies that could make your head spin. Seriously, get ready for some jaw-dropping discounts because they're racing to move inventory and draw in buyers. It's like a high-stakes game of price tag poker, and everyone wants to win. Dealers are itching to get rid of older models to make room for the new arrivals, which means we're looking at some fabulous markdowns and enticing special offers. Now is the perfect time to strike a deal because these promotions can seriously take a bite out of what you typically pay. Plus, don't forget, everybody loves a sale, and dealers are super eager to move their inventory. So guess what? You're in the driver's seat when it's time to negotiate. With so many vehicles available, you have the upper hand to discuss prices, trade-ins, and financing terms to your heart's content. But what does all this mean for the dealers? Well, the automotive dealership landscape is in a bit of a pickle right now, with big players like AutoNation, Ford Motor Company, Aisbury Automotive Group, Lithia Motors, and Sonic Automotive all feeling the heat. It's like they're all on a wild ride, juggling economic pressures, supply chain hiccups, and constantly shifting consumer preferences. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Check out what some of the leading companies in this space are saying. They'll tell you exactly how these shifts are playing out and what it means for your next vehicle purchase. Kicking things off with AutoNation, which is the top dog in automotive retail here in the US. They just released some mixed financial results that really showcase the hurdles facing the industry, plummeting 34% to $190.1 million, primarily due to shrinking profits on each vehicle sold. The CEO, Mike Manley, even pointed to a recent cyber attack that messed with their dealer management systems, throwing a wrench in sales and operational flow. But let's be real, AutoNation is facing more serious challenges than cyber attacks. They're struggling to move their inventory, and this is hitting their profits hard. We're talking about a notable 6% drop in revenue compared to last year, which is definitely not what you want to see. And when it comes to new vehicles, they're raking in a whopping $3,100 less per sale. Yeah, that's a staggering 32% drop. And don't get me started on the used car profits. Those have also taken a hit, plummeting by 16%. This is telling us something pretty significant. Prices are on the downturn, and the glory days of sky-high markups and fancy add-ons are quickly fading into the rearview mirror. But despite all this gloomy financial news, AutoNation stock shot up by 7.43% in just one day. So what's the story behind this spike? Well, they poured $311 million into buying back their own shares. It's a smart move for temporary stock management gratification, but it really doesn't fix the underlying issues they're grappling with. Think of it like slapping a vibrant new coat of paint on a decaying wall. It might look cute for a short time, but those structural problems lurk beneath the surface waiting to be addressed. But it's not just them. Ford Motor Company is another heavyweight grappling with a rocky market. Ford reported a jaw-dropping 66% slump in retail vehicle sales and a 24% drop in net income. The CEO has highlighted the urgent need for strategic pivots to keep up with the changing tides of consumer preference and economic realities. Ford stock has shown some resilience, which suggests their investors still believe in their long-term recovery game plan. However, the pressure to innovate and remain agile in this fast-evolving automotive landscape is a constant nagging worry. See, Ford and AutoNation are putting on a brave face, but the reality of their situation is far more complicated. While they try to mask the challenges, the fundamental problems remain, and it's clear that they've got some serious strategizing to do. Prices are dropping, profits are shrinking, and the market is evolving. So what's next? Let's dissect the future. Today's manufacturers are pulling out all the stops to stay ahead in a constantly evolving market. And first up on their checklist is cutting back on production. By turning down the flow of new vehicles rolling off the assembly line, they're cleverly dodging that nerve-wracking surplus and perfectly tuning their setup to fit the softer demand. But the strategic moves don't end there. Manufacturers are improving their used car game. How, you ask? Well, they're cranking up their certified pre-owned programs. They're putting a shiny new spin on their pre-owned vehicles by certifying and warrantying them. This gives buyers something super enticing to sink their teeth into, creating a win-win scenario with more appealing options for customers and a better bang for the manufacturer's buck in terms of residual values. Yet the flavor really kicks up a notch when you hear about the irresistible offers being cooked up in the used car arena. Manufacturers are slashing interest rates and rolling out attractive lease deals on these CPO vehicles. Ever checked out what Ford's been up to lately? They've totally doubled down on their certified pre-owned program. This investment means they're offering used vehicles that have been rigorously inspected, complete with warranties that make buying a pre-owned Ford a breeze. Pretty smart move if you ask me. And these manufacturers aren't simply sitting back and leaving their dealers swaying in the wind either. They're stepping up to the plate to help manage those cascading used car inventories. This partnership includes everything from putting a marketing spotlight on these deals to offering inventory financing and trade-in assistance. It's like the perfect buddy system where everyone is pitching in and making sure no one's left out in the cold. And guess what? Automakers are sharing a wealth of knowledge, market data, pricing insights, and sales forecasts like it's candy. Essentially, they're handing dealers a cheat sheet to guide them in making smarter, sharper decisions about acquiring and pricing used cars. It's true knowledge is power, and by sharing it, they're giving everyone a stronger handle on navigating today's tricky market. Look at CarMax. This used car giant is all about digital smarts, using data analytics to tap into market trends and consumer cravings. By diving deep into sales data, CarMax can spot which cars are hot and tweak their inventory to match. This strategy means they're always stocked with vehicles ready to zoom off the lot, cutting down wait times and boosting those profit margins. It's like they've cracked the code on used car sales. But we're just scratching the surface here. These are big corporate players we're talking about, and when it comes to profit, they're sharpening their tricks to razor-edge precision. One dazzling move they're making is zooming in on those profit magnets, trucks and SUVs, while easing off on the not-so-hot sedan section. It's like they're curating a VIP party guest list, only inviting those high-margin models that keep the revenue tide flowing and the business thriving, even when the market isn't exactly roaring. And Honda is shaking things up in a different way with slick trade-in programs that tempt folks to swap their old rides for shiny new models. It's genius. This way, Honda is not only grabbing high-quality used cars to resell, but also giving their new vehicle sales a nice little nudge upwards. They're creating a win-win loop that keeps those sales figures in the green. This is cool, to be honest, but have you heard what Tesla's been cooking up? They're blending their used car sales right into their main sales strategy. Yeah, you can trade in your old car directly on their site and hop right into a brand new Tesla. This not only helps Tesla keep tabs on their used car stock, but also creates a super sleek buying experience that leaves customers grinning. It's the kind of smooth operation that makes car buying feel almost too easy. It's so good that even Toyota is jumping in with both feet, making waves in the online sales world. They've supercharged their digital sales game to catch the booming demand for used cars. With online platforms offering virtual tours and financing options, Toyota's making it a breeze for buyers to snap up pre-owned vehicles from the comfort of their couch. And get this, some daring automakers are even experimenting with a bold new model, a subscription service where you can flexibly swap your ride every month. It not only shakes up the traditional car ownership model, but also adds a flair of excitement that's sure to catch some eyes. And seeing how these big players are rewriting the rules, you've got to wonder, what's next? How will these strategies play out, and who's going to rise to the top in this new age of car sales? Let me explain. The aftermath. Look, for years, we've had this time-honored process locked down. Automakers craft the latest models, send them out to the local dealerships, and we, the hopeful buyers, stroll into shiny showrooms to pick out future rides. There was a nostalgic allure about it, a certain hands-on feel that made getting a new car an occasion to remember. But let's be honest, like all things vintage, the enchantment has dimmed over time. Those cozy dealership visits have hit some speed bumps lately, making us wonder if that old-school charm is forever lost in the rush of modern-day hustle. We are today's buyers, hungry for something sleeker, more streamlined, essentially an experience that fits right into our digital-first lifestyles. So add on the rollercoaster of inventory challenges, pricing puzzles, and the ever-shifting market troubles, and it becomes clear, skipping the dealership middleman and going straight to the consumers seems less like a cool idea and more like the logical path forward for car makers. At first glance, you might think this leap feels bold, maybe even risky. And you're right, but this shift isn't just about hopping on the latest trend train, it's backed by a multifaceted strategy. By phasing out traditional dealership negotiations, manufacturers are on a quest to create a car buying process that's not only transparent, but also delightfully efficient and, yes, more fun. Imagine not having to wrestle through dealership haggles or twiddle your thumbs during endless paperwork marathons. It's just you, your chosen manufacturer, and the dream car you've envisioned all along. But dive a little deeper, and there's another intriguing layer to this transition. Beyond the polished promise of a breezier transaction, what manufacturers truly seek is a golden prize – control. Under the old dealership system, giants like GM, Ford, and Toyota had just a small voice in how their creations were displayed and moved off the lot. This disconnect often resulted in jarring brand disparities and uneven customer service from one dealership to the next, not exactly the way to win customers' hearts. By stepping up and taking direct control of the sales journey, these automotive titans can now ensure a unified brand message. But this newfound reign doesn't just end at the point of sale. It stretches throughout the entire adventure a customer embarks on, from that initial spark of curiosity through acquiring the vehicle and into their next buying decision. Manufacturers are ambitiously setting out to oversee it all. The goal? To craft a seamless, more personalized encounter for you, the driver, as you transfer from one thrilling ride to the next. But there is one more thing that has automakers dying to bring the direct-to-consumer sales model into the market – data. Now I get it, no one really loves the idea of Big Brother watching over their shoulder or being reduced to mere numbers on a spreadsheet. But here's the deal, getting hold of fresh, actionable data right from the source is nothing short of revolutionary. In this digital age, data has become the Wild West gold rush. By sidelining dealership middlemen and connecting directly with customers, manufacturers are striking gold with first-party data. And let's be real, it's not just about cold hard digits, it's about tapping into powerful insights that reveal what makes customers tick, what gets them excited, and what keeps them coming back for more. Imagine having an insider pass to see exactly how people are tricking out their rides online. This kind of intelligence is like a treasure trove that can steer product designs in thrilling new directions. Understanding which features have buyers hooked and which ones make them yawn is almost like peering into a crystal ball for product development magic. And that's just scratching the surface. You see, the perks don't call it quits once the new car rolls out of the garage. Post-purchasing data is the gift that keeps on giving, getting a handle on how folks actually use their vehicles, what they love, and where they hit roadblocks. It allows car makers to dig up incredibly valuable feedback. This wealth of insights can shape everything from tweaking the next generation of car models to rolling out laser-focused marketing campaigns. It's about establishing a perpetual motion machine of feedback that drives innovation and keeps that customer loyalty meter in the green zone. To sum it up, imagine if these manufacturers had access to all this treasure trove of data from the get-go. They might not face some of the hiccups they've encountered. But where does that leave us, the consumers, in this data-driven dance? We can't help but wonder, how will this bold new directive continue to shape the automotive realm? And more importantly, what might this mean for the future of our own car shopping journeys? What does this mean for you? Ever dream about having endless car options at your fingertips? Well, that day is here. Thanks to manufacturers boosting their inventories, you're in a candy store when it comes to choices. And speaking of sweet deals, car prices, new and used, are dropping faster than weekend plans. With this massive stockpile, you can score a fantastic deal without blowing your budget. So what's the plan? Keep an eye out for those jaw-dropping discounts. With so many cars on the market, you're in a prime spot to negotiate like a champ. Dealerships are eager to clear out inventories, which means they'll likely negotiate on prices and financing. It's your chance to use your superpower to snag a killer bargain better than ever. And the best part? The flood of used cars means quality is up. Dealerships are focusing on better trade-ins and certified pre-owned options, so you're likely to leave with a nearly brand new car, minus the brand new price tag. But what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next video.